Welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Mike Slinkard. This week we head out on our yearly pilgrimage to pursue the wild turkey. We will be in close on some western birds in Oregon. Then we'll head out to Missouri to hunt with my buddy Jason Cleveland, who shows us some crazy encounters with eastern birds as well. You know, Jason's a firm believer in HECS technology, and watching him push the limits to see just what he can get away with is always a good time. As we've seen many times over the years, HECS technology is a complete game changer when it comes to getting away with more movement when you get in close to wild turkeys. Today's show is yet another testament to the power of HECS technology in the turkey woods. As always, whatever happens, we'll show it to you right here on Hunting with HECS.
Hunting is about getting close. Really close. Get closer than you ever thought was possible.
When you have a cameraman and you setting out in a dirt field like this, you can get away with so much with this HECS on.
I've got to give credit once again to HECS.
We showcase the science of getting close right here on Hunting with HECS.
Hunting with HECS is brought to you by PSE Archery. Tough Country, American values forged in steel. Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Victory Archery, the Carbon Arrow experts. BumpersDirect.com. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, we call the game. Spot Hog, the world's toughest archery products. Warren Winches. Trophy Properties and Auction. And HECS Stealth Screen, the evolution of concealment.
On this first hunt, we're in eastern Oregon, set up with my buddy Andy Day. Andy's set up in an area where the toms like to travel through. He's also self-filming his own hunt and hunting with a bow, so this ought to be something to see.
We're gonna give it a shot right here tonight. I got no cameraman, so I'm doing this all by myself. I got the blind you can see in the background there. There's nobody in it, it's just me. So I'm gonna try to self-film this and see what we happen for the rest of the night. Got my decoys out, ready to go.
After a few soft calls, Andy had one answering, and it wasn't long before the big tom showed up behind him and headed straight into his setup. Well, remember, Andy is not using a blind. He's just sitting outside with just his camera and his bow. You can see that he has to do some pretty serious moving to get the camera turned around and back on the bird. Yet the turkey completely ignores it and struts right past Andy and straight into his setup. As we've seen countless times before, this is the undeniable power of HECS technology at work. You know, we know without a doubt that birds can actually see the electrical emissions from all living beings, and these emissions spike with movement. That's how turkeys can tell living movement from inanimate movement. Andy's HECS suit is effectively blocking these fields, so he's able to get away with a ton of movement, and the bird will simply dismiss it like it would a limb blowing in the wind.
Well, I don't know what happened. I thought I was right there, so looked like I might have shot maybe just a little bit to the right, so I saw him taking off down here, so I must have just went right down the side of him.
Well, Andy called me after the hunt and was lamenting about how hard it is to concentrate on making a good shot when you're worrying about cameras, focus, and all that go along with the self-filming gig. So I offered to go back out and film for him that evening. First up was this hen. She fed into the pasture and then just moved off to our left. A few minutes later, we heard gobbling behind us and off to the left. It turned out to be two mature toms, and they were headed straight into the setup. Their path was going to bring them alongside us at about 25 yards, with Andy plainly visible from their angle. Well, you can see that this bird spots Andy, but after a quick once-over, it simply dismisses him as if there's nothing to worry about, and both birds head on in. As they approached the decoys, Andy drew his bow with both birds facing right at him. You know, before HECS, it wouldn't even enter a hunter's mind to even try this. But now, after over 10 years of seeing the HECS advantage, Andy doesn't even give it a second thought. And as always, the birds totally ignore the movement. Without having to worry about the camera, Andy's able to take his time and wait for a perfect shot. Well, the bird only went a few yards and piled up. Well, as often happens in a HECS scenario, the second bird didn't take off, but just stayed in the area, totally confused by what just happened. Since I still had a tag in my pocket and my bow was lying beside me, I decided to try to capitalize on this confusion and try for a double. Well, I had to run the camera while reaching behind me at the same time to get my bow and release ready. All the time, Andy was sitting out front ranging for me. That was a ton of movement, yet this bird totally ignores all of that and moves back closer to the down bird. Of course, as luck would have it, just as I'm ready to shoot, the bird steps behind a dead limb on the camera. I'm at full draw now, so I don't have a lot of choice. It just is what it is. Unfortunately, my arrow passed just under the bird, and we had to settle for one nice bird on the ground instead of a double.
The HECS did an absolutely phenomenal job for us today.
Well, that's what HECS is all about, being able to get away with movement, and that's why we do what we do. Outside the blind, number one, you can see a lot better when you're outside the blind, but number two, we don't have any problem getting to full draw. So another one comes down, and we put the HECS on another one right there.
Hi, I'm Bill Epperts, and I'm very fortunate to be in the hunting industry and hunt all over the world. And one thing that's really made me successful over the years is the HECS technology. And it's allowed me to take 18 Grand Slams of turkeys, 2 World Slams, the Big 5 in Africa with a bow, also all the animals in New Zealand. And one thing that I think that really helps me, and I preach this in my seminars, is the HECS technology really works. It allows me to get away with more movement, and the animals do not seem to detect me in any way. So the next time you go out in the field, make sure you check out HECS technology.
We'll be right back with more exciting turkey action right after this. Welcome back to Hunting with HECS. We are putting our HECS to the test this week on Spring Gobblers, and before the break, we watched as Andy Day took a nice bird with archery gear. Now, let's get back to the hunt.
Now we're headed to Pike County, Missouri to catch up with Jason Cleveland. Well, here Jason's set up on the edge of a large open field, hoping to draw a tom across to his decoy spread. Unfortunately, however, as often happens, the toms were hung up with a group of hens and refused to leave them. Never one to accept defeat, Jason decides to utilize his HECS suit and a turkey fan and some aggressive moves to make it all happen. Even though there's absolutely no cover at all in this field, Jason crawls straight towards this group of toms. When they met him part way, it was game over. You know, Jason started wearing HECS way back in 2010, and now he regularly tells everyone he knows how it's truly changed the way he hunts.
If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Put the HECS on and take the game to them. This morning, we got in here really early. We were set up and decoys out and everything by 5:30. We'd roosted them the night before and we knew they were somewhere along here, but we didn't know exactly where. So we set up right here, and gobblers pitched down out here and just kept gobbling, gobbling, gobbling and inching towards us. But when the hens finally decided to get down, they pitched all the way over to my food plot. And then they just beelined over to them, and I couldn't take it anymore. I knew they weren't coming, so I got to crawling, put the HECS on and just went out there and took the game to them, and let's go see what I got. That's what I like about turkey hunting though. You see a full fan out there, you shoot them. You don't worry about all that other stuff. Well, how old a bird do you think this is? I'd have passed this bird. That's a bunch of hogwash. Full fan gobbling turkey, you shoot them. Oh, got a little 2-year-old, which is awesome. Perfect bird. Missouri's second morning, and just a beautiful sunrise out here with Andy Pettit, my head cameraman. He's my good luck charm. Shoot big deer with him, and now he's seen me do it on the turkeys too. Just what an absolute wonderful morning. Tons of birds out here, and they were gobbling like crazy. And this is the result. Taking the game to them, man.
The original HECS suit is very lightweight, breathable, and versatile enough to be used in almost any hunting situation. It comes complete with pants, shirt, and head cover, and is available in Mossy Oak Country and New Mossy Oak Elements Terra pattern. The material features a highly electrically conductive carbon grid woven into the polyester base cloth. This grid blocks your body's electrical field. Most people wear HECS as an underlayer, but as long as the HECS material is between you and the animal, it's just as effective. The pants are cut similar to sweatpants, with an elastic waistband, adjustable drawstring, elastic cuffs on the bottom, side pockets, and a convenient fly. The pullover shirt features thumb holes, serge stitching, and an embroidered logo. The head cover has a hemmed eye hole, adjustable drawstring in the back, and is very easy to use. Additional accessories are sold separately and include the HECS hat, made entirely of HECS material and is very lightweight and comfortable. The gloves are made of a lightweight, stretchy material in Mossy Oak camo with the HECS technology woven in. The socks are a heavyweight over-the-calf sock and have the conductive HECS grid woven into the material. Brand new for this year is the new multi-rag. This versatile face mask can be worn in a variety of ways. Order right now and use the promo code PURSUIT to save an instant $30 on your order of a complete HECS suit. Learn more about our complete line of clothing and accessories, as well as our fit guarantee for worry-free ordering at HECSLLC.com.
The up-close turkey action continues right after this. Welcome back to Hunting with HECS. This week we are taking on some hard-hunted spring gobblers, and so far the guys have been laying them down. Now let's catch up with host Mike Slinkard to see where we're headed next.
Now we're headed back to my home state of Oregon to hunt with my daughter Caitlin and I. Well, this is a super special hunt for me because Caitlin is pregnant with my first grandchild. So I guess you could say this is my first hunt with my grandbaby as well. Well, we're set up in one of our very favorite spots. The turkeys love to travel through here and they strut here all the time, so it's a perfect place to get a good tom. Well, as usual, we're not using a blind. We're just sitting out in the open under a big pine and a juniper. After a few soft calls, it isn't long before we have a group of turkeys moving into the setup. The hens come through first and feed on the far end of the clearing. A couple minutes later, a good tom shows up in the back of the pack. When the tom didn't appear to be interested in our decoys, Caitlin decided to take him. As usual, she made a great shot and the tom didn't go far. With plenty of daylight left and the birds gobbling off in the distance, we decided to switch places and see if I could score on a bird. A bit later, a bearded hen showed up in the decoy spread. You know, bearded hens are legal here in Oregon and are considered a bit of a trophy due to their rarity. I'd never taken one, so I got ready in case she gave me an opportunity. Well, unfortunately, it just touched the back feathers and she scooted off into the trees unharmed. Well, I may not have made my shot, but Caitlin saved the day with a great tom, and I have a memory that I'll never forget with my daughter and my future grandchild.
Oh, here's the arrow. There's a bunch of tail feathers and breast feathers everywhere. I shot him going straight away, so it would have had to went all the way through him. There's not much blood on the arrow, but you could see him for a while after I hit him, and he didn't act like he was feeling very good, so I doubt he's that far.
Well, it's been a really special day here in Oregon, hasn't it?
Yep. Does this count as your grandpa's first hunt?
It kind of does. Put the old Rocky Mountain Captain hook to the test. You used the old PSE carbon air. Yep. This bird went nowhere. You made a great shot on him too. So, cool thing is we were there, all those hens came in too. And I mean, the whole bunch. This one come trailing in. Caitlin put a good shot on him. We were sitting there waiting around, and then that bearded hen came in. You're a better shot than me because I just bounced off the top of her back. I just knocked some feathers out. Wasn't even any blood on the arrow. So anyway, what a special time here in Oregon. Baby's first hunt, and the first time I get to kind of call myself a grandpa. So it's always fun, kiddo. I love it.
The newest addition is our base layer. The base layer is a lightweight, semi-thermal material designed to be worn under your regular hunting clothing when you need just a little bit of extra insulation. It features the patented HECS technology woven right into the material. The suit comes in 3 pieces: pants, shirt, and head cover. The shirt is a quarter-zip Henley with serge stitching, embroidered HECS logo, and thumb holes. The form-fitting pants have serge stitching throughout, and an elastic waistband and cuff ensure they stay in place. They also feature a convenient fly. The head cover has a hemmed eye hole, adjustable drawstring in the back, and is very easy to use. Additional accessories are sold separately and include the HECS hat, gloves, and our new heavyweight over-the-calf sock. Brand new for this year is the new multi-rag. This versatile face mask can be worn in a variety of ways. Order the HECS base layer right now and use the promo code PURSUIT to save an instant $30 on your order of a complete HECS suit. Learn more about our complete line of clothing and accessories as well as our fit guarantee for worry-free ordering at hexhunting.com.
We still have plenty of action left, and it's all coming up right after this quick break. This week's episode is all about getting close to sharp-eyed spring turkeys. We've seen do-it-yourself hunts, open field stalks, and soon-to-be mamas getting it done. Now let's get back to the action.
Well, we're still in Oregon, and this time I'm behind the bow and hunting solo. You know, Caitlin usually films me, but she's feeling under the weather in the morning since she's been pregnant. So this morning, I'm on my own and self-filming the action.
Okay, we're in one of my favorite spots here. They just ride here all the time, so it's kind of early in the morning. It's kind of a bad day, but we're going to set up here and see what happens.
Well, I chose one of my very favorite spots. We already had the area cleared and it was all set up, so I was able to get in with all my camera gear and set up pretty quickly. Well, it wasn't long before a curious deer came in to check out the decoys. You know, HECS works great on deer, so I wasn't surprised when it stopped to check out the area and then moved on in. Well, if you look closely, you can see a string running out to the decoy here. I use it to add a bit of motion to my setups. In this case, I decided to see what would happen if I moved the decoy when the deer was right beside it. Well, I guess that deer wasn't willing to chance an encounter with a grouchy old Tom. It jumped back out of the way, but still it didn't run. It just simply moseyed off into the woods. Well, I turned my camera off to save the battery and was surprised a few minutes later when a Tom showed up out of nowhere and beelined right for my setup. You know, I had to do a lot of moving. I had to reach back, turn on the camera, hit record, get my bow ready, all while this bird was right in front of me. I came to full draw while he was facing me, and he totally ignored me. HECS is the key to our success with turkeys and all kinds of big game. we're realizing more all the time how much the electrical fields that we generate actually affect other life on the planet. Science is beginning to understand that very, very well. We've been using the ability to block that to our advantage for, well, since 2010. So if you haven't yet tried HECS, you owe it to yourself. It's a great, proven technology, patented too, but proven technology. There's tens of thousands of hunters that see stuff just like this every year. So tell you what, get a HECS suit and you can start having success like this.
Did you know that scientists found a specialized molecule in a bird's eye that allows them to see the Earth's electromagnetic field visually? The EM field given off by all living beings is very similar to the field given off by the Earth, which led researchers to the revelation that birds can actually see the electrical field that is emitted by living beings, and helps them to tell living beings in movement from inanimate ones.
Hunting with HECS is brought to you by PSE Archery. Tough Country, American values forged in steel. Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Victory Archery, the carbon arrow experts. BumpersDirect.com. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, we call the game. Spot Hog, the world's toughest archery products. Warren Winches. Trophy Properties and Auction. And HECS Stealth Screen, the evolution of concealment.
Well, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it once again. HECS technology simply and undeniably changes the game when it comes to hunting turkeys. After a decade in the turkey woods and tens of thousands of satisfied HECS customers raving about their success, you know, it's pretty hard to ignore. Simply put, HECS users are getting away with things that would have been considered completely impossible only 10 short years ago. We're now able to move cameras, draw bows, raise shotguns, all with turkeys looking at us at point-blank range and not get busted. HECS even allows opportunities at previously unthinkable things like the archery double. With HECS, turkeys simply cannot easily recognize our movements as living, and they end up ignoring them altogether. If you don't yet have the HECS advantage, quite simply put, you're at a disadvantage to all of us that do. Go online and give us a call today and get a HECS suit on the way for this season. Just like Jason Cleveland and the rest of the HECS Nation can attest, it's going to change the way you hunt. In the meantime, we'll keep pushing the limits and bringing it to you each week, right here on Hunting with HECS.
If you have an amazing HECS encounter you'd like to share, give us a call or contact us online. If we use it on the air, you'll be in the running to win an exciting hunting trip with the HECS crew. You can find out more on our website at hexhunting.com. While you're online, make sure to take a minute and check us out on our social media sites as well.